Hi, welcome to another Chess.com podcast. Now we're looking into the idea of carrying out combinations and how there are different variations involved in a combination. It's not just a single shot tactic to win the game or win a piece. You could be positionally up. Now in these two examples today, we're going to look at the idea that a sacrifice is a key cornerstone to any combination. To improve your position is often a sacrifice or an exchange sacrifice required somewhere along that combination. Now in this position, again, it's from this book Combinations in the Middle Game by Bondarevsky. We see that white's got great piece activity, whereas black's pieces are a bit uncoordinated. Although black is putting pressure down the b file, and it looks as though b2 could fall if white hasn't got something up his sleeve. The great move here just simply rook takes bishop on f6. Now after the natural looking g takes f6, simply queen to g4 check. After the king moves out check, the queen picks up the d7 rook. White's a knight up here, and it looks like he's going to have a comfortable endgame. Now if we go back in the position, what if black didn't take g takes f6? What if he tried to avoid that and protected his rook on d8? Is that where the combination ends? No, we should think down the combination a bit further. And simply queen takes c6 forces white to exchange the queens pretty much. So after the queen exchange, now not only is white still up this piece, but he's also gained a pawn, and his b pawn is no longer being attacked. So I just wanted to introduce the idea that the sacrifice is one of the basic elements of the combination. Now we're going to look at one more example, which is from Capablanca versus Yates, which was in New York in 1924, and it's an absolutely brilliantly thought through combination. So here we are, it's 1924, Capablanca with the white pieces against Yates with the black pieces. If you've never seen any Capablanca games, I really suggest you go and look at them. I mean, this is a player who's just amazing. His playing career spans 20 years, might even be 21 years, and in his entire career he only lost 35 games. An absolutely brilliant player, one of my favourites certainly, and someone that even now inspires people to become chess players. Well, in this position, again we look at it and it's even. In fact, you could even say that black's got a slight advantage with the bishop, although it isn't a great bishop. But white's got the two knights next to each other, and when they're next to each other they can usually coordinate well. And also white's got this great pin on the d file, which could cause some problems. So how could white carry on here? Well, you try to pick up either a piece or improve your position, and what white does here is he improves the position of his least active piece, which is the knight on a4, and in doing so picks up a pawn. As we can already see, this knight on c4 is attacking the pawn on a5, so how can the a4 pawn attack a5? Well, he has to go on a bit of a knight walk, but in doing so he attacks the black piece, the rook on b5, so the knight comes to c3, and what can the black rook do? He can't drop to b7 because straight away knight takes a5 and white goes up the pawn. Another move that simply can't be made is a capture, and the knight taken on c3, because after the rook takes d7, king gets out of check, white picks up a piece and wins the endgame easily. So black must play rook to c5 if he wants to protect his pawn. But notice now that the black rook, has only got the b5 and the c5 squares to go to. So as long as the white knight can alternating between attacking these two squares, he'll be able to improve his position whilst forcing black's moves. So knight comes to e4, again rook to b5, knight e to d6, rook to c5. After knight to b7, we see that the white knight has achieved its objectives of capturing the pawn on a5. The rook comes back to c7 and a5 falls. Black's really got no other options here. If black tried to come to b5 to play with the exchange down, after knight takes, rook takes, knight takes, we can easily see that the pawn and the rook are more than a match for this bishop, and white's going to win the endgame. But we need to think through these combinations because, well, I mean, that's what the podcast is about, but that's also what happens in the game. The different variations we need to be able to think through. So we're not going for a single tactical shot in here with this knight walk. What we're doing is playing a combination of moves that leads to an advantage, in this case picking up a pawn. I hope you've enjoyed this Chess.com podcast. We're going to be looking at other combinations that lead to positional, tactical, or even outright winning games. And all these combinations may look a little strange at first. I hope you'll start to see patterns and basic elements that make up combinations, such as forced maneuvers, sacrifices, and calculation. We need to look at what our position is at the beginning and what our ideal position is at the end. Our ideal position at the end of this would be to capture the weak pawn on a5 whilst improving our bad knight on a4. I hope you've enjoyed this Chess.com podcast.